Hey guys, this is Jessica Gutierrez with Clean With Me podcast. This is a podcast where I walk you through cleaning your house step by step. So let's clean together. Thanks for joining me today. So for those of you that are new here, what we do is we walk you through cleaning your house step by step. And sometimes we have deep cleaning episodes or we hone in on certain rooms or decluttering spots, if you will. But the majority of our episodes are keeping you on track and walking you through cleaning your house. I'm Jessica. My mom also does episodes. We kind of switch off, 1 week on, 1 week off. And so you get a little bit of the best of both worlds, like Hannah Montana. I am 28. I've got a 5 and a 3-year-old for those of you that are new. And for those of you that are our avid listeners, thank you for listening. Welcome back. But I am a mother of 2 small children. I have 2 stepdaughters that are teenagers, and it is very hard to keep my house clean. So I just want to share with you my struggles, what has helped me, what hasn't helped me, what I am having trouble keeping up with, how I'm solving it, and you guys are along for the ride. I would love for you guys to also check out our website, cleanwithmepodcast.com, where my mom posts recipes, our episodes categorized. She's got that under construction, all kinds of cool stuff. So please check out cleanwithmepodcast.com. And here's a little cameo from my 3-year-old. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks for joining us today. And what's your name, guest on the show? Rosalie. And do you like keeping Mommy's house clean or dirty?
Clean.
But do you make it dirty sometimes?
Yeah.
A lot of times?
Yep.
I know it. So as you heard there, that's my troublemaker. That's my 3-year-old, and she does play a big part in keeping my house dirty. So let's get right to it. First thing I like to do is I like to get in the cleaning zone. And for me, that's getting ready in some capacity for the day. I like to light a candle, open windows, set the mood, if you will, brighten up the place. For me, the hardest part is starting. I will sit on my couch for ungodly amounts of time and just think about cleaning, and I get tied up in my phone, start scrolling, and then it just seems like way harder of a task than it really is, and I put it off, and I, in my head, make it out to be this huge, daunting task that's going to take me forever, when really it's going to only take me like 30 minutes it doesn't take me that long to clean my house. And that's even when my house is a complete disaster, because once you start going, and if you're in the mode and you're getting into it and you're cleaning and you start doing stuff you didn't even set out to do, that's how I am anyway. Like once I start going and do the first steps, next thing you know, the house is clean, because my problem is just getting my butt off the couch and getting going, because I'll just be staring at the toys on the floor and the screaming kids, and I'll just want to just disappear and into my phone and just zone out and turn off my brain. And I can zone out, turn off my brain, and listen to a podcast and clean my house. I don't have to sit on the couch and do nothing, you know? And of course, every time, without fail, once I get started, it usually only takes me 30 minutes to an hour to clean my house. And then I feel so much better for it. I have a better day. I have a better week, even, because I know that, because let's be real, how stressful is it to just wake up to the house being a disaster? I hate waking up last minute. Let's say I stayed up too late on my phone the night before, which has been happening a lot lately. I've been getting in this bad habit where I stay up late on my phone, and then I wake up late. I'm in a hurry. I didn't clean the house the night before, so the house is a disaster. That kills your mood right there, and that's just you just waking up. So you're waking up with in a bad mood, looking at this dirty house. You stayed up late, so you have a bad attitude. Kids pick up on that. If you have small children, they pick up on that, so they're going to have bad attitudes. Teenagers too. They're going to be like, "What's your problem, Mom?" And so they're going to give you a hard time, and it's just going to make your life hard in general, even if you don't have kids. Why do you want to wake up to a dirty house and just start off your day in a crappy way? And I've been doing this to myself a lot, so I decided it was time to make a change. And we all have these times. I'm not saying that this is me all the time, and I'm not saying that this hasn't happened a lot of times. Like this, I go through cycles of being super good and on it and on top of things. And I go through times in my life where I've got a lot of stuff going on, some personal problems, some mental health problems, maybe even some depression problems. And my house is last priority. I'm not getting the sleep I need. And it's just, you got to realize that you're just hurting yourself and you're making your life hard, and then that's when the change happens. So for me, I realized I'm making my life way harder than it has to be. When I was on top of stuff and waking up to a clean house, I was having great mornings. It was awesome. My kids were happy. They listened to me. We got ready with ease. No one was in a hurry. We weren't struggling to get out the door. So I'm just hurting myself. I realized that. And once I got back on a routine, everything's not perfect, because nothing's ever going to be perfect, but it's a whole lot better. So definitely routine is important, which is why on this podcast, I like to be repetitive. I like to do, I always say, by the way, do it as I say it. Let's get ready to clean. Let's do your cleaning ritual, whatever it is you do before you clean, whether that's lighting a candle, opening up a window, whatever it is you do. Let's go ahead and do that now. I like to get ready in some capacity. That gets me going and really motivates me to clean. So if you're like me and getting ready for the day helps get your blood pumping and get you ready to clean, then do that. Open some windows, light some candles, and we're going to get right into it. That was my little rant. I just wanted to let you guys know that, yes, me and my mother have a cleaning podcast, but I try to be real with you guys, and I try to let you know that it's okay to get super behind, and it's okay to get off track. But when you do, it's about how long you're going to stay in that cycle, and realizing that it's only hurting yourself and making yourself have a harder morning and a harder life, and then making the change and just trying to make your life a little bit easier. And that's what I'm here for, is just sharing my story, sharing my struggles, and just trying to make your life a little tad easier for you. So once you've gotten ready, go ahead and start a load of laundry. If you don't have a lot of time for folding, because I try to fold things when they come right out of the dryer, because if I don't do that, they will stay on a chair for 5 to 10 business days. And I'm sure a lot of you relate to that. So if you know you're not going to have a lot of time for folding today, then just do a load of towels. But let's go ahead and get that going. And then we're going to get to the whole house clean. We're going to do a whole house clean instead of our deep cleaning series. We're going to take a break from that. So let's do that. And while you guys are loading up the dryer, doing that laundry switch, if you will, moving the clothes from the dryer to a laundry basket, from the dirty clothes hamper to the washer. That's what we call a laundry switch. And then the clothes from the washer to the dryer if you already had a load going. And then we're going to move straight away into the kitchen because I hate doing the kitchen. If I put that last, then it's not going to get done. So I always start with the kitchen. That's why we do that first. And we do a load of laundry first. That way that's going while we're doing the episode. And then at the end of the episode, we are going to kick up our feet and fold that laundry and think of it more as a break than a chore. But let's go ahead and get going on the dishes once you're done with that laundry and move on to the kitchen. Let's clean up our breakfast mess. If you have a dish aster from the night before, we've got dishes piled up. Maybe you haven't done them in a while. We've all been there. That's fine. You take as much time as you need, but let's get started on it because it's not going to get finished if you don't get started. So let's go ahead and just get started with our pre-rinse. So while you're doing that thorough pre-rinse, move all of your dishes, out of your drying rack or your dishwasher and put those away. And then let's start pre-rinsing. If you have stuff that's really, really bad, some pots and pans that are going to be really difficult to clean, we're going to want to leave those to soak while we're doing our other things. We could just fill those with some hot water and dish soap, or we can boil some salt in the pan. My stepdaughter taught me that one. And then set those aside, get to everything else. We want to do the order of operations of dishes, which is the least dirty thing, like the cups and utensils, and then we want to work towards the plates and the bowls and the more nasty pots and pans and things like that. So while you guys are working on the dishes, I want to continue my thought and my little talk about getting back on track is the theme here. I definitely had a period where, like I said, I was not maintaining my house correctly, and I was staying up late, waking up later, and it was really disrupting my life. So you just got to find a happy balance, because a lot of times as parents or just people with busy lives, we tend to stay up late at night because it's our only time to ourselves and it's quiet, the kids are asleep, or or you're just finally off work and say you bury yourself in your work, and the only way you get time to yourself and time to do the things that you like to do in your free time is late at night. So I would schedule everything, because that's the thing that saved me. And I'm not a scheduling type of person. I'm not a very organized person. Anybody that knows me can attest to that. I am not organized and just be doing the dishes while I'm talking. But somebody who does love structure is kids. Kids love structure. I've learned this. I'm a new parent, but I've learned that the more structure is in my house, the smoother things go and the happier my kids are. My oldest one loves structure and schedules so much. She literally will ask me for one. She likes me to write. She can't even read, but she likes me to write down a written routine on our fridge, because that's how her brain works. And she even as a 5-year-old realizes that on days where we have everything scheduled out, she's happier, the house is happier and smoother. And like I said, although it's easy to get off track, it's easier to get on track. All we have to do is go to sleep early the day before and wake up early, or say your kids are off schedule, because they were starting to adapt to my weird schedule because they actually still sleep with me. I know some of you may not agree with that, but I can't seem to get them out of my bed. And even though I have a California king, I have one on top of my head and one on top of my back every night. So they definitely still sleep with me. And although sometimes it irritates me, it is our bonding time. It is nice to have that time with them in the evenings when I'm putting them to bed. And, I'm not going to have that forever, so it is nice to lay down with them and put them to sleep at night. But I was noticing that the times when I'd start getting really off track, yes, they did correlate with, things happening in my life and stuff like that. But also, I've noticed whenever I'm going through something, I quit scheduling time for myself. We have to schedule out time in our days for us to do the things that we like, not at 2 a.m. That way, we're not staying up super late to get that adult time that we need, or that time away from our jobs that we need. So, as you're doing the dishes, the advice that I would give to you is, while writing out these schedules, whether you put it in your phone or your head, or you're writing it down on a piece of paper, make sure to keep yourself in mind and don't make a schedule so rigorous that you're not going to follow it. It's like when you're making New Year's resolutions. You don't want to do something that you're not going to do, that's unattainable. You want to do something that's realistic, that you're going to actually do, and set attainable goals and baby steps. Rome wasn't built in a day. We're not going to be the perfect people overnight. It takes time. You're probably getting close to being done with loading your dishwasher at this time, or washing your dishes by hand, unless, like I said, you had a really bad dish day, and that's fine too. Whatever stage you're in the dish world, just keep on doing that. If you're almost finished, then you can move on to something else in the kitchen. I will start to talk about cleaning off countertops in just a moment, but for those of you that still have dishes, just keep working on those. And at any moment, you can pause me or rewind me, or if you want to just clean with me, even though it's not the exact timing for your household. Maybe you have a really dirty kitchen, but the rest of your house isn't so bad today, or vice versa. That's okay. Just, you can clean along with me still, or you can choose to pause, rewind, however you choose to do it is up to you. But yeah, as we're finishing those dishes, make sure we're checking around the house for any dishes that we might miss, because nothing's more annoying than when we just finish the dishes and then someone brings a bunch of bowls or something from another room of the house. When I was in a big family, my mom had 6 kids, so I was one of 6 growing up, and I was often on dish duty, which is probably why I hate it now. And thanks, Mom. And whenever I was on dish duty, it never failed that every time I was completely done with the dishes, my siblings would come to be facetious, and they'd throw all the dishes from their room or whatever into the sink, and then I'd have to do those after, and it really irritated me. And yes, they did it just to be annoying, but to avoid that, what we started doing is I started making them round up all of the dishes all over the house, living room, family room, dining room, and putting them all into the kitchen so that I'm not missing anything. And a good thing to do while you're doing the dishes is also check your refrigerator. See if you have any leftover containers that have been sitting in your refrigerator too long. I used to be super bad about my refrigerator until I started doing the thing I told you guys about, which is every time I go do a grocery shop and get groceries for the week, I will, before I go, clean out my refrigerator. And that is because when you get home with a bunch of groceries, you don't want to just move old casseroles or whatever to the side. You're going to end up pulling that out, and that's going to take time, and then it takes you like 10 years to put your groceries away, and it's really annoying, right? So we want to go ahead and clean out our refrigerator every time we get groceries, and that kind of scheduled in for me cleaning my fridge regularly, because that's something I wasn't very good at. And we all have those things that we're super good about and things that we're not so good about. Like I said, I'm pretty good at keeping my outer areas clean, and although I hate the dishes, I'm pretty good about that because I don't have too many people in my house right now. But my clothes are somewhere where I definitely struggle, so that's something that I have to spend extra time on. So for those of you that are done with the dishes, let's go ahead and move on. If you're not, no worries. Like I said, you can keep going with the dishes and just clean along with me. But I'm going to start doing other areas of the kitchen. So first off, I want you to look inside your microwave. Does it need a wipe down? If so, I love using those generic lemon-scented Clorox wipes to clean everything. If you're a little bit more of a person that doesn't like throwing a lot of stuff away and you'd rather use a wet rag and soap, I do that too. My husband prefers that method. He doesn't like using Clorox wipes. He thinks it's wasteful. I don't disagree with him. I just am lazy and I like using Clorox wipes, and I guess that's a bad thing. I'm working on it, guys. But anyway, I love those, especially for the bathroom. And although sometimes I do definitely clean my kitchen with a wet rag and soap, I'm not going to give it up for my bathroom because I like to be able to throw away what I'm cleaning my toilet with. That's just me. I get really grossed out by, clean whatever I'm using to clean the toilet with. I don't want to keep it. I want to throw it away. So I want to use Clorox wipes to clean it. I like to put gloves on, and I like to get down deep in my toilet and anyway, clean with Clorox wipes. But we're not on the bathroom yet. We're still in the kitchen. So get in your microwave, take that little glass plate out, do a quick wash of that since you still have your dish stuff out, and then do a thorough wipe down of your microwave. And then after you're done with that, we want to clear everything off the countertop that doesn't belong or that has found a home on your countertops but doesn't belong there. So sometimes we get used to seeing things. Like I've said in previous episodes, we want to look at things in the eyes of a guest. Now, I want to talk to you, as you guys clear off your countertops, I want to talk to you guys about a very unhinged game that I play. It's called Guest Roulette. Now, most of you are probably a lot more put together than me, but sometimes I need an extra kick in the pants, and sometimes the only thing that motivates me to clean is somebody on their way to my house. So I'll invite a couple friends over, and maybe I know these friends are even busy, but there's still that one chance that me sending the text saying, hey, do you guys want to come over in the next hour and hang out at my house? Sending that text message, I know that there's a chance, and somehow that kicks my booty into gear and I end up cleaning my house. And I'll text a couple people that, and I know it sounds really unhinged, but it's something that really motivates me. Those are on my really bad days, but I'll text a friend and I'll be, like I said, I'll say, hey, you want to hang out with me today? I'm free in an hour. And then I'll get up off the couch and I'll clean up, and I'll be like, oh man, I don't want her to see my house like this, or she just shows up, blah, blah, blah. And I won't even touch my phone to see if she replied. I'll just clean and pretend like she's on her way right now, because she could be, because I texted her, right? So I'll just bust my booty and just get the house clean. And then once a house is to my liking, then I'll check my phone, and then, usually they're probably not even coming because I live out in Timbuktu. But you don't have to quite do that. That's a little bit insane, I know. But you can pretend like someone's coming over, look at your house through the eyes of somebody else, a guest, somebody coming into your home that's not there every day, and think, does this appliance really need to be on my countertop all the time? Or does it only take a second for me to take it out when I need to use it? Say like a blender or something like that. And I'm going to call my mom out right now while we're doing the countertops, be working on the countertops while I'm talking. I'm going to call my mom out. She used to have this toaster, okay? And this toaster, you move this toaster, 1,000 crumbs would fall out of this dang thing because no one cleaned it. I'm calling you out, Mom. So if you have a toaster, I don't have toasters in my house, but if you have a toaster and you haven't cleaned it in 10 years, and if you move it, a bunch of crumbs fall out, this is talking to you. And I thought you guys would like to know that weird story about my mom. She probably doesn't even know that that's something that irritated me, but I would clean the toaster every once in a while, and I'd get so mad because I'd go move it out of the way, and a bunch of crumbs would fall out of it. Weird, random story about my mom. But anyway, moving on. She's going to hate me for that. Sorry, Mom. Hopefully you're not listening to this part. She's a little more put together than me over the years. She's already made her cleaning mistakes. Now, she's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but she's at the stage of life where her house stays a lot cleaner than it used to be. She doesn't have little kids in the home anymore. All of her kids are 11 and up. So her house stays pretty clean. She's got little helpers. She's got big kids to do her bidding. She's got teenagers in the house. She works from home, stuff like that. So she's not struggling with keeping the house clean with a bunch of toddlers anymore like she used to be. So obviously that was a different time, different era completely, of course. But she doesn't like me telling horror stories of the past because she is a different person now and she is a lot more clean. And I try to follow in her footsteps and try to be her right now instead of her when I was a young adult and she was overwhelmed. Now I can't imagine having 6 kids. I have 2. That's crazy to me. If you have 6 kids, you are a saint. If you have more than that, I don't know how you do it. But I'm struggling with 2, so kudos to you. I don't know how she did it, and she kept her house pretty clean for having 6 kids, I'll tell you that. Okay, so once we've done that and done a thorough wipe down of the kitchen cabinets, I want you guys to get wiped down happy, as I like to call it. I want you to wipe down everything, every appliance, every nook and cranny. If you have small children, look down at the cabinets down low. Is there little sticky fingerprints? Is your refrigerator needing a wipe down? Do you need to give a quick wipe down of the inside of your refrigerator? Again, Clorox wipes are great for that. And when I say Clorox wipes, I do use the generic ones, just to be clear, and the lemon scented ones, because there's just a really odd scent to the regular ones that I don't like. The generic and the Clorox. And while we're talking on about the refrigerator, my mom said that she read something about Aldi being dye-free or something, so I think I'm going to start shopping there. My daughter has really bad psoriasis, and I don't think I've talked about that on the show yet, but I have to give her weekly shots on her arm because her psoriasis is so bad that, she'll have rashes head to toe before we started giving it to her. So I think I'm going to start experimenting with fiddling with her diet a lot more because, a lot of times that has something to do with it, and she is a lot more sensitive to different foods than I am. So I'm going to try keeping some of the color dyes and red dye number 40 and stuff out of her diet for a while and see if that clears things up. And if those of you have kids that struggle with psoriasis, and I know every kid's different, but if you found like a certain diet or something like that that works for them, that helps clear their skin, please DM me on Clean With Me Podcast and let me know. I would, on the Facebook page, I would love to know, or my Patreon. We do have Patreons, me and my mother. Both of us have one for the show, and it's just a way that you can financially support the podcast. It just helps us keep up with our equipment in our day-to-day and be devoted to the show like we would like to be. So I'll put that in the description and a link if you are interested in doing that. You do not have to by any means, but if you would like to, I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, message me on either our Clean With Me Podcast Facebook page or our Patreon, and let me know if any of you are dealing with that kind of thing and have found something that works, because I would love to get her off that shot eventually. So after we're done doing a thorough wipe down of everything, I want you guys to just at least spot sweep. We're going to go back at the end of the episode and do all the floors, but I want you guys to at least spot sweep where we brush crumbs on the floor. That way we're not tracking them throughout the house. And then we're going to quickly move to the outer areas. And if you're not done with your kitchen, no worries. You keep working on that kitchen. but we're going to go ahead and move on. Pause me, rewind me, do whatever you need to do. So outer areas. If you haven't already opened your blinds, go ahead and do that. Maybe your ceiling fan needs some cleaning. It's a good thing to do that first. I like to wet, dust things like my ceiling fan and my blinds. That way it doesn't send dust particles throughout my house. So if you want to dust your blinds or your ceiling fan at this time, you can do that. I've seen people do it with a t-shirt, a duster, whatever you like to use. Don't hurt yourself when you're doing it, of course. And then if you need to do that, do it. If you don't, you don't have to. If you have any cobwebs that need to be taken care of, you can do that too while you're dusting. And then what I like to do is I like to start with big ticket items in the house. So things like my giant ottoman, I like to straighten that out. If it has any stains on it, it's a velvet ottoman thing that opens up into like a toy box or a storage container. I like to wipe that down. The kids touch it a lot, and I just like to get a wet rag and just scrub the top of the little, just spot clean pretty much the little stains. I used to have a Resolve cleaner that had a little head that released carpet cleaning foam when I had a not a velvet couch, a cloth couch. I don't have a cloth couch anymore, but I was constantly spot cleaning, so I definitely recommend having that on hand if you do a lot of spot cleaning of a cloth couch, if you will. And then something that really motivates me is I really love when my pillows in my living area are just so. It's just something that brings me joy for a weird reason. So I like to clean my couch off and just adjust my pillows, make them look nice and pretty and arranged. And I just get everything large that's in if there's a big pile of toys in the living area, I like to get that taken care of. You know, whatever you see that's right out in the open, let's go ahead and put that away where it goes. Let's scramble around the living area and just put things away. And when we're putting things away, we never want to shove things into drawers or hide them. Even if we're in a rush, even if somebody is on their way and we're trying to speed clean, you want to put things away right, because it'll come back to haunt you. It'll make your life harder later on when you're going through a drawer and you can't find what you need. And if you didn't catch that deep cleaning episode, I mentioned rotating your toys out. So I keep my toy box in the living area. I used to have a giant toy box in my living area, and something that my friend does and my mom does, and I talked about this in the organizing deep cleaning episode, bedroom episode, was my mom and my friend rotate her favorite toys out. So I like having a little container, just like one of those little cubby things. You can get them from Five Below, little cloth cubbies. And I put just their favorite dolls, their things that they play with every day. And I put those things in a little container, and I put the rest of their toys up. In my old house, in my old podcast, I used to talk about hiding the toy box like behind the couch. But my kids were smaller back then, so they were toddlers. So hiding a toy box behind the couch hid it from them, and then they would just not know where it was. Obviously, a little more difficult now. I would recommend getting storage containers and keeping the bulk of your toys maybe in a closet or under a bed, and then just rotate them out. Whatever their favorite things are, leave those out so they can dump it out and play with it, and it's not a big cleanup. And then when they get bored with those toys, you can change them out and start all over again. And I think that's a very, very good way to keep the kids from throwing everything they own onto the floor. Now, of course, we still want to purge our toys every once in a while. We don't want to have tons and tons of toys that they're never playing with. If you're noticing they're never playing with it, then it may be time to donate some toys. But if they're playing with stuff, they just have their favorites every now and again. This is a great method just to keep your house a little cleaner, so it's not as much of a struggle getting out the door when you're putting their toys away. And I just want to say, if you've made it this far in the podcast, you're doing great. You have made it so far. We have cleaned a lot of the house by now. Our kitchen's done. Our living area is almost done. We're going to move on to the bedroom. It's going to be great. And we're going to have a nice, clean house to relax in. That's always nice. We're going to sit back and relax and fold some clothes at the end of the episode. So we're almost there. I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me this long. And let's go ahead and let's finish this and knock this out. So next thing I want you guys to do is, if you haven't cleaned your windowsills in a while, get a wet cloth and do that now. If you have a TV stand you need to wipe down, I have one that's glass, so that's why I always talk about wiping down my TV stand. That's something I have to do on a daily basis because it gets fingerprinted very easily and it makes my house look grimy. And if you need to clean the windows with Windex, you can do that too at this time. If you have any mirrors that need to be cleaned. And for those of you that are avid listeners, you know that I like to decorate for every weird holiday. Right now I have a couple 4th of July decorations up. Why? Because it brings me joy and it somehow helps me keep my house more organized when I go to Dollar Tree and I get little signs to decorate my house with. And yeah, they're a little tacky, but the kids have fun changing them out throughout the seasons. And, you know, I don't know, I like them. I think they're cute. They have these little gnomes at Dollar Tree that, like, change with the season. So I have a bunch of Valentine's Day ones, Easter ones. I have a little 4th of July one. So it's just something that I do that doesn't cost me much. It costs me like $20. I get a bunch of stuff from Dollar Tree and I decorate for every little holiday. And it's just something to motivate me to keep my outer areas clean. And as you're finishing up the outer areas, look at your entryway and think of yourself as a guest at walking into your home. What is something that you're noticing first thing when you walk into the door? What's standing out to you? What's something that is an eyesore that you can fix and clean and put away? Fix it. Put it away. If you have a hot spot, put that stuff away. Just try to look at it in another perspective. Like I said, sometimes we get used to seeing things so much, like, say, a chair that collects our coats or something. We could do something with that. We could put that in a closet instead of just letting it sit there and out in the open. Just stuff like that. I very much hate clutter. I have a very small house, so even though I do have a lot of stuff, I always try to keep it put up. And if I have too much stuff to put away in drawers, then I know it's time to get rid of some stuff because I really don't like the cluttery look in my home. And if you're more eclectic than me, that's fine. A lot of people do have a lot of shelves and knickknacks and stuff. And if you like that, that's different. But if it's supposed to be there, that's different than as opposed to you just throwing stuff on a table because it's right by the front door or something and stuff is accumulating. If you need a place to put stuff when you come in the door, like your wallet, keys, etc., try getting like a little dish from, like I said, Dollar Tree, Five Below, one of these little cheapy stores. They always have little tiny cute containers to throw your keys and whatnot in. We're going to save the floor of the living area, whether you have to vacuum or you have to sweep and mop up to the end of the episode. And then let's go ahead and quickly move on to the bedrooms. So first things first, when I start cleaning my bedroom, I strip my bedding. Now, I have to wash my bedding a lot because, well, I have my kids sleeping in my bed. So I have to clean my bedding way more than I even want to talk about. It's such a pain. But I have, if you have kids, definitely recommend having a safety sheet, if you will. I don't know what they're called. It's like this rubber kind of on one side, cloth on the other side sheet that goes over my bed that kind of protects the mattress from the kids spilling things, peeing on the bed, what have you. And I love it because it really does save my mattress. And you still want to vacuum your mattress every once in a while because things still get through. But I take all of my bedding and I put it in a place that I know will be seen as my next laundry switch, if you will. That way it'll be nice and clean and already dried and everything by the time it is time for me to go to bed. And then if we have any kind of... I have a dresser that's really annoying and it gets stuff caught behind the dresser doors, and I'm telling on myself right now because even though I've recently purged my clothes, I still have too much clothes to where they're falling behind the dressers and making my dressers hard to close. And that just looks really not good at all. Obviously, it looks really dirty and just messy to go into a room, and then you have like drawers halfway sticking out all over a dresser. So I definitely am going to have to purge again and at least put some of that stuff up that I'm not wearing right now that's out of season, because the purge that I did last time just wasn't enough, and I'm still having to get things from behind those dressers all the time. You may not have, that's a very specific to me problem, but just look for things like that in your bedroom. Little things that just look not right. Look around your floor. Do you have a place, a chair, a area in your room that you throw a bunch of dirty laundry? You could take care of that at this time. A hot spot, a place where you accumulate things. Clean clothes maybe that you've tried on and thrown in a corner. Put those away. Maybe you need to organize some blankets and fold them up, make a bed. If you're not doing your sheets and cleaning your sheets today, then you can make your bed and make it look nice and pretty. If you need to clean under your bed, just do a little sweep of everything under your bed and clean under your bed today. And gather up all your dirty laundry and put that in your hamper next to the laundry. And if you have the time today, I really encourage you to sit back and do a couple more loads of laundry. I definitely need to catch up today, so when I get off work, I'm going to be catching up on some loads of laundry and watching a good show or listening to a podcast. And don't forget to take out your trashes. I have a little wastebasket in my room. I have one in my bathroom, and then I also have one in the kitchen. So I, at this time, take out all of your trash cans. If you notice your trash can is dirty and it needs to be rinsed out, you could do that with your shower head or outside with the hose if you live in a state where it's warm right now. If it's not, then no worries. Just change out that liner for the trash can. And before I go, don't forget to do a whole house floor clean. So if you have carpets, you can clean your carpeting. If you have wood floors, you can do a very thorough sweep and mop of, I'm talking kitchen, dining room, just the whole shebang. Bedroom. Let's go ahead and clean all of our floors. Some of us have bigger houses than others, so that might be a more daunting task to others than for me, for example, because I have a pretty small surface area to cover. My mom has really huge kitchen dining room area with really hard to clean tile because every little thing shows on it. So hers is going to take a little longer than mine. And then once you guys are done cleaning your floors, just go ahead and kick up your feet, like I said, and get some good laundry done. Take those clothes out of the dryer. It's probably time to do a laundry switch and just kick your feet up after you're done doing your floors, of course, and get some laundry done. That way you're nice and caught up for the rest of the week. I want to thank you guys for listening today. I appreciate all of you. Again, check out cleanwithmepodcast.com. And thank you for spending the entire 45 minutes cleaning with me. I hope you got your house straightened up and ready to go. I know I did a lot of talking today. I hope you got something out of it. I'm glad I got to share with you some of the struggles I've been dealing with, and I hope you guys have a great day. Happy cleaning.